Welcome to this short video on animating your PowerPoints. In the previous video I showed you how to animate bullets or text. In this video I'm going to show you how to add pointers to your images so you don't need the laser pointer. I've already created a file, so we have an image ready to go, and we'll just get to the picture, and there's a lot of things on this image and I could highlight a lot of things, but I'm going to do two things. I'm going to put a highlight around this pacemaker, then I'm going to add an arrow to this elevated diaphragm. So to draw a circle around something, we go to Insert, the Insert tab up here at the top, and then Shapes. And there are a number of choices that you can use. The oval works well. You can also use rounded rectangle, but the oval will work well for this. So I click on my oval, and now I have a crosshair which will let me go to the corners of my oval, so I'm going to do that like so. Now you notice that the oval has obliterated what I wanted to see, and that's clearly not good. So we put our cursor over the oval and right click on it, and you get your contexts menu, and down here at the bottom is Format Shape. So I'll just move this out of the way, and what we want to do is use No Fill. No Fill will make it clear in the middle so that our oval is not obscuring what we want to highlight. And I can change the line color, and you need to use a color that will stand out well. So this stands out nice on an X-ray. It's a bright yellow, and that's really all I need to do. Now I can move this around if I needed to, but right now it's centered pretty well. Now I don't want the oval to show up right away, so I'm going to go to my animation slide, or animation tab, and in bullets we use fly in. Fly in doesn't work real well for circles. I think what works well is appear. You could also use split, which will draw it around, or wipe, but the appear I think works fine. Okay, so now we've got the animation on there. Now when I go to the next part and show the arrow here, I don't want the audience distracted by my circle, so I'm going to add an animation and make the circle disappear. So here I add animation, and I have some choices, and I'm going to choose disappear. And now you see there are two animations. One will make the oval appear, one will make it disappear. Okay, so that works out well. And now I'm going to go to the next part of the talk, and I'm going to highlight this elevated diaphragm, and for that I'm going to draw an arrow. So I'm going back to my Insert tab, and I'm going to have the shape again, and here I want to use an arrow. Now there's an arrow with two sides. There are curved arrows, but I'm just going to use the straight pointer, this one. And so now my cursor will start at the beginning of the arrow and then go to the end of the arrow, and the arrow will have the pointer on it. So I do it, and I see the two end points. You notice the head of the pointer doesn't show up well, and it's also kind of a small arrow. So I'm going to change that. So I right click on the arrow, format the shape, and the first thing I'm going to do is increase these points here, and I like to use a setting of 2. That seems to work pretty well. And then I'm going to change the color for something that will show up well. So let's see, brown. Yeah, the brown will work well, and it's also different from the yellow. Okay, so now I don't want this showing up when the slide first comes on, so again I'm going to use an animation. Now again, like the circle, we don't want this to fly in necessarily, but we also may not want it to just appear. I like the wipe animation because it will draw from one end to the other, and if you make it draw from the tail to the head, it kind of focuses the audience attention on the head of the arrow. So here I'm going to just use that, and under the options you can change the direction. Now from the bottom or from the left will work equally well, but you see it would go in the opposite direction here, so I'll just leave it from the bottom. That works fine. Okay, so now we'll see how this looks. So I'm just going to save this file, and we'll do slideshow and from the beginning. Let's see how it looks. Get my cursor out of the way. So I've got my title slide. I advance. Now I see my image, and there aren't any effects on the image. It's the unaltered image. Now I advance again, and I see my yellow highlight. This gives me a chance to talk about the pacemaker. When I advance the next time, the highlight disappears. We program that in, and I can talk some more. And now I advance again, and I get my arrow. And you see how it drew the arrow from the tail to the head, and I think that works kind of nice. So when I advance next, we're at the end of the presentation. Okay, that's really all there is to it. You saw some things about using the Insert Shape tool. You saw some things about the animation effects and the options, and I think this really covers what you need to know to get started with your animations. Well, I hope this was helpful. Thank you for watching.